Should Southgate still be England's manager? Afo.
You talk to me first. No, I was ready to fire him 2 years ago. So for me, that's an easy one to answer. I think very, very quickly, I could see tactically that he wasn't that guy. And what's interesting, I was kind of looking into the stats of what his win percentage is in comparison to other England managers. So he averaged about 61% in the 8 years he was there. And I was like, do you know what? That's not too bad when you compare it to how other England managers did. But like I say to you all the time, Jeremy, sometimes it's about the eye test as well. And from kind of watching England play, the decisions he made in the big moments, where again a perfect example was against Croatia, I think 2018, in the semi-final, where he needed to make a substitution, he needed to change a few things around, and it took him way too long to kind of do that. And I think for me, the fact he made that same mistake with then future tournaments kind of just screamed why he wouldn't be successful as England manager. And at the highest level, when everyone's balling out, everyone's performing, you need someone that's going to make the tactical decisions that are going to, I guess, flip things in your favour. And Gareth didn't have that. Gareth did not have that. So sorry to him, because again, man management skills, top, again, gets on well with everyone. Again, you have to respect that. High win percentage, 61%, like I said, but it's about, do you handle your business? And Southgate didn't handle his business when it came down to it. So for me, yeah, sorry, bro, but you've got to go. You've got to go. What are you saying, Henry? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that number does sort of inflate the perception of him because it is high. I think it's only second to Capello.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the big games against big sides, he didn't really perform very well at all. There isn't the numbers that back up that he could beat an Italy, beat a Spain, beat a Germany on his day. And I think he should have gone previous competition as well after 2021. I think that was a good chance to get someone else in, which didn't happen. So we sort of stuck with him. But it was in this latest tournament that style of football and the decision making that really, for me, came to a fore. When you see him playing Walker at right back, Trippier at left back, and them both not playing to then accommodate the players ahead of them, I was just screaming at my TV. I'm going, Ben White overlaps Bukayo Saka every week at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker didn't do it once in certain games. He just didn't do it. And you go around building, international football is so much about chemistry. And that's why the great sides like Spain, 2008, 2010, 2012, they're all playing for either Barca or Real Madrid. He had a chance to create some chemistry and he just didn't do it. And you do wonder what decisioning is going through his head when he puts out the team. And then the fact he didn't react as well. He didn't change during games. The camera pans to the bench and they're going, why isn't Cole Palmer coming on?
Yeah.
Why isn't he bringing Foden on early? All those sorts of things. You just wonder what is going on. And the whole Trent Alexander-Arnold's experiment in midfield, it's the most technical role that you have. And then to plonk someone in there who doesn't play it week in, week out for his club, albeit he inverts. It really was painful to watch. And I think to your point, Afo, the numbers, 61% win percentage is relatively good. Yeah. But the football we watched was relatively poor. It really was. So I thought it was overdue, and I'm happy we've moved on. We need to move on.
So Henry, you mentioned there about I guess around like the coaching and him making certain decisions late or never really making decisions. So why do you think he did stuff like play Trent in midfield when he never really did that for England or Liverpool? What do you think encouraged him? Like, because for me, I find it very, very hard to understand how he make those decisions. What do you think? Caused him to...
The Trent one, I really can't rationalise because there's only so much time they have in the build-up to those tournaments to test the waters with some of those ideas. And for him to then shoot for it in the first game in the group stage, you do go, is this tried and tested? And it just wasn't. It just felt like such a strange thing to do. the Trippier at left back was his hand was kind of forced by the availability of left backs.
Yeah.
We just didn't have any. But at the same time, you then ask, well, why don't you play a left-footed player for a starter left back, or get someone in who can play at left back more naturally? So some of it I just can't rationalise. He must have seen something in a training session which we don't get visibility of. He must have seen something to give him the idea to say, yeah, we're going to shoot with Trent at CDM and play that pivot role. But on the pitch, I didn't get it. I couldn't understand why he's going for that.
Yeah,
What do you think, Afo?
boys? I'll just chime in as well, mate, because I think the reason why he played Trent in the midfield is because I think that was one of the few times he just gave in to media pressure. And I think there was all a lot because of the way Trent delivers a ball into the box, the way he can pass and link up play at Liverpool. I think people got a little bit too excited, in particular in the media, and Liverpool fans probably thinking, "Oh, okay." And because of his lack of ability to defend properly at the highest level, people thought, "Okay, maybe we need to accommodate Trent in our team, and the best way to do that is for him to play the CDM role." Quickly we found out that that was not going to be successful at all. But what annoys me about, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing about Southgate. But I think at the international level, it's probably not one of the best traits to have. Is that he is loyal to a T. The loyalty that he showed to Harry Maguire, for example, like no one can really explain that, but for some reason he managed to pull out pretty impressive performances for England, right? And you look at, for example, Pickford as well in goal. I think when people were calling for the Arsenal Ramsdale to be put in goal, he stuck with Pickford, and I think Pickford's always been reliable and a pretty safe pair of hands in the England shirt. For me, it's just the decisions that he made to pick players that were more obvious. So, for example, like when we need, for me, it's his substitutions more than anything. His substitutions are the things that drove me nuts. Like when you could see that we easily needed some injection of excitement, of pace, of some killer instinct. He never did them on time. He would always wait about 20 minutes later than it should have been, than they should have been substituted on. I think of like Cole Palmer when we should have got him on earlier. I think at the times where we probably should have had. This is back when in the past World Cup where we could have brought on Sancho earlier or Rashford earlier to add something to the game. So for me, it's just his. Oh gosh, I hate to say this, but he didn't have any bollocks. He needed to fucking he needed to actually like risk something, and he was just too conservative. And for me, I'm really upset because I feel like we had a class generation of players there that we've potentially wasted. Harry Kane, what is he like? 31 now, 32.
Close to 32.
Yeah, and we've got what's his name? Carl Walker's coming towards the end of his career. Obviously, we didn't get Rashford's a medium-aged lad, but he's out of the picture then. But when he was on hot fire form, he didn't get the most out of him. I think someone like Sterling as well. We didn't manage to win anything with him in the team. So there's a load of really quality, talented players that could compare against any golden generation of the past. And I just think that we've wasted that opportunity with these guys. Now, I do think there's a great crop that are coming up next, and we'll discuss it a little bit about how Tuchel's going to do in that role. But I'm pretty upset with the tenure that we've had as a team.
Yeah, and I think I think his reign is an example of what previous England managers struggled with. When you think about the Gerrard Lampard Scholes situation, I think one thing that frustrates me about football is when managers feel the need to squeeze every single player into the starting 11. When, for me, sport has always been who's the best performing, who fits the team and where we're trying to play. And then if you don't perform, someone else comes in and takes your position. I think for me, Southgate took way too long. He took way too long to make the tough decisions. And it might be the reason why he never gets a top job in England again. I can't see him moving. That part of me hopes he goes to United. I hope that's who. I hope that's who United.
We'll touch on United, but you know what? There was a bit of an uproar when he was announced as they were actually looking at him. But yeah, at United, it's more than the manager. But yeah, go on, boys.
Yeah, but yeah, again, like we'll see how things play out. But yeah, I think ultimately, I think obviously you mentioned that there's a whole bunch of players that maybe are past their prime a little bit, and I think you could see that with the last tournament with Harry Kane. I don't know if he was injured, but Harry Kane for me was poor all tournament, considering he had an unbelievable season at Bayern Munich previous year, even though he didn't really win, but it didn't win. Even though he had a great season, he struggled in the tournament. And I think any top manager, when you see something like that, and you've got options off the bench that are balling out as well, you switch it up. You're Harry, like even though you're captain, let's try something different or sub him out earlier, and he didn't do that. So yeah, I think that's kind of like a testament to maybe English coaches and probably why there was a struggle when it came to decide who's going to be the next England manager. And people wanted it to be an English coach.
I'm a different type of rock star. I got class and I got Henny overflowing up my shot glass. And yeah, I know I'm not a keeper, but can you be my mama's seater by the time I'm done with